Okay, I'm back for a short while tonight. I want to just implement a back button for the menu tonight before I go to bed. Yeah, work's been annoying lately, but I'm like, I want to do something. I want to work on this a bit more. So that is tonight. So currently, when the app is launched, this is a button that will say in the future something like puzzles, and then it takes you to here. You can flip through these options, but I want to really be able to go back to the main menu. Because yeah, I think in this iteration of it, this functionality honestly won't be that important, but I have future plans for this app, and it will be nice in the future plans to just clone this project and then immediately start being able to start modifying it. So, yeah. This will also just give me some of my own code for basic buttons as well that I can reuse in other projects. So yeah, this is the current one we are doing. Okay, let's check out the button code, the existing button code, to remind ourselves what that is. Okay, so these buttons are just, this is being hovered with height, position, and then 4 colors. Okay. And then for these arrows, we have something that's just drawing the geometry of them. Okay, so similarly, I want to do something called render, let's call it like render menu button. And this will just simply draw a menu icon. And we won't need a direction for this. Okay, what do I want to do in terms of menu button design? I feel that just having some icon where there is just some smaller rectangles will do for a button. But I kind of, okay, I'm gonna do like the paint. This is so crude. Will Microsoft allow me to zoom in? I already don't want to use this app. It's in my head. We're gonna render it on the page. So we want to draw 3 rectangles. We want to draw 4 rectangles. The background rectangle, and then the 3 rectangles that will comprise the icon. To do this, we want to find a square and a length. So let's just do square length. Let's make this like 8% of the height. And then, because it is the height, right? Yeah. And then let's then figure out the 3 rectangles that we're going to make in this. So yeah, we'll do rec1 pos, and we'll make this equal to the center, the button center, plus let's do like sub-rect height, sub-rectangle height. This will just be 20% of this square length. Now that we've got that, the actual we want to specify the positions of 3 rectangles immediately above this. These positions will be 2 times will be the button's position plus a vector 2 with no x offset, but 2 times this sub-rectangle height. For the rect2 pos, we just want this to literally be the same as this. And then for the rect3 pos, we want this to be... what happened? Go away, Emacs. We want this to be... We want this to be negative instead. Okay. Now we've got those, we can draw the appropriate... We're nearly done. We also want the like... No, this is fine. Hi, two-step. Yeah, the game has been coming along a bit. I did a bit of travel last week or the week before, I don't know. So many random miscellaneous work stuff. But currently, the app looks like this. There's buttons, there's a back and forward button. When the grid is solved, there's a way of detecting that. So tonight I'm just adding in a menu button, and that will be enough. And then that will be this thing done. Okay, maybe I'll also do a README file tonight, even if I have to get up at like 6 in the morning for work. Anyway, I'll survive. Yeah. Really, like, once we get in the dragging the tiles functionality, things will almost be done. But there's still a couple of things to do until then. Yeah, thanks for stopping by again. It's yeah, you've been invaluable in help in the past, and I'm sure this will continue in the future. Okay. Yeah. So now we want to draw everything. So let's start by drawing the background. The background rectangle. Let's just do like background color, and we want this to be actually let's just copy this. So we need, and then hang on, color to, oh yeah, the default colors in the hover colors, that's correct. So yeah, we just want to draw the main rectangle. So this is, it's so much easier just to like look at the previous code. Yeah, it basically is this. This one, draw the 3 rectangles. And then for this we want to just do, similarly draw a centered rectangle. But now the rect1 pos, and then now the square length, and then the rectangle height, and then the detail color, and then I just want to call this 3 times, but doing so actually seems like I should just be putting this in a loop. So why don't we just do rect pos. We'll define all of this within the next minute, and this is just the pos. That's fine. And then here, let's define, that's fine. Let's define this rect pos to be equal to, 3 vect2s equal to let's just make it a variable to begin with. And then we can just say for 0 into I rect pos I is equal to the vec2 given by the B position x coordinate. I think it is easier to read like this. 0 and then I basically want to do I want these indices to range from -1 to 1. So we need to convert these if we're going to subtract them. So int cast I hopefully no. We can just do float from int I. We might need to say this is meant to be an F32. And then, okay, suddenly I think this is actually way more complicated than just having it like this. But I'm now stuck with this. And then we're just multiplying this by the sub-rectangle height. Okay, and then, yeah, I don't like this. This is too complicated. It's just as complicated as specifying everything in such a way that the compiler knows what to do. Let's just do that. Okay. So yeah, this, and then one version of this. And then we're just making this 1 times this, 0 times this, and then -1 times this. That's all it is. And since this is a const, I should represent it like that. Okay. I think we're almost ready to draw it. So now let's jump into the render code again. In particular, when we're rendering this part. And then if we're drawing this from like top to bottom, we can't just render it immediately. Well, we can, and then we'll do the geometry. We need to compute the button geometry first. That is, figure out where the button is, and then we'll draw it. But we will skip that step immediately for the moment. Temp, let's just say shapes. We want to just say draw this button at a specified position. So, okay, let's just say menu button. It should either be called menu return button. Menu return button is now going to be one of these. I just want to get this drawing immediately and see what it's looking like, and then it will be modified. Let's just make this have constant width and height, and let's move this at 100, 100. Let's make this gray. make this gay Gary. Yes, clearly. Gray, color to def, dark gray, hover color, make this still gray, and then maybe we make this yellow. We want to just, I can use macros. We know how to use Emacs, kind of. And really, this should be a button. Or really, it should be a button dot button. Okay, then we can immediately draw it. That is, we can render the menu button. And when my standing desk is of the incorrect height, mistakes are made. And I guess we want to just return this thing in. Okay, let's try compiling this. Hovering equals false. That's because I need a dot on each of these. Use of undeclared identifier, gray. Really? I guess it's not here. I guess I really wanted to use light gray instead. Okay, now we're back to the buttons. 36. I guess I could just say it's equal to that. Okay. Hey, there's now an icon there. Not what I wanted though. Something is, I want to kind of see three different heights. What is failing? I want these to be multiplied by 2 instead. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted. And that's kind of the menu button I had in mind. We can change the dimensions a bit. 0.8 seems a bit too large now. And maybe 7 is fine. Maybe 7 would be fine. Also, let's change it so that the default screen when it's loaded is not the menu one, but just the puzzle ones. Just like game state. No. It will be in here. Game mode, where do we set this? Game mode dot main menu. No, we don't want that. We want main. We want this one. Okay. Yep, that looks okay to me for the time being. The hover stuff isn't working, but that's because we haven't... Actually, why isn't the hover stuff working? because we're not processing the hover stuff yet. Right, we're just yeah, okay. Yeah, with these button things, there's a couple of things we need to do. We first need to compute their geometry, then we need to check for mouse detection, and then we need to render them. So we've done the rendering part. Let's set the geometry of this properly. So back to here. Let's set up the geometry of these things. So yeah, we'll get rid of this and return to it. Draw menu button. And we should make a global button for this. So yeah, so for the arrow buttons, head arrow button defaults. I guess we can say menu return button defaults. And then I'm kind of like tempted to not make this a constant, just immediately make it a variable. But actually, I think there was a problem when we tried to do something like that last time. Let's just keep everything constants to begin with. It went like that. Position is 0, 0. Why is this failing? Okay, now I need to actually define some more colors. So, let's see. So let's say menu return button, background default color. And yeah, we'll make this light gray. And then we want to do the detailed version, and then the hover version of both of these. So we'll go with light gray. Like the colors of this app at the moment are so boring, but we will change them at the end. We'll make them look much better, or at least marginally better. Yeah, so we'll make that one dark gray and this one yellow as well. Okay, and now we can start using these. So we want this to be menu return button background default color. Basically the same here, but now it's the hover color. Why is this defined in terms of the defaults and the hovers? This is detailed default. this one is the hover, and then this one is the detail hover. Okay. Okay, let's just check this. It still compiles. Yeah, it's working. It says it's unidentified because we haven't yet used it. Okay, and then for the actual buttons, now I want to say menu return button is equal to menu return button defaults or def. I'm slightly debating whether this should be called defaults or default. We'll make it defaults. Return menu button defaults. Use of undeclared identifier. Menu return button detail def color. Oh, yeah. Okay. And yeah, it's being set at 0, 0, so we're not seeing it, as to be expected. But now we need to set it. So let's go to the compute geometry part. Is it update geometry? No, calculate geometry? Yeah, calculate geometry. And then did grid calculations, menu button calculations. Okay. Puzzle button calculations. Where's like the arrow calculations? Let's give this a better name. Arrow button calculations. And then return menu return button calculations. Okay. So so how do we want to do this? So these arrow buttons were just aligned by taking the horizontal position of these columns and then centering like some of the top of the grid with, it's just still centering. So where would we put one of these menu return buttons? I'm thinking kind of like the top left at the moment. Like, should it actually be positioned with a constant? I'm struggling to think of any reason why not. So I guess we can just say like menu return button dot pos is equal to like 100, 100. Oh, we will need to calculate the height and width of this thing. Like, it should be smaller than the length of these tiles. Maybe even smaller than these buttons. why don't we just copy the width of these arrow buttons and heights and use those? So we'll move these down here. And then we can say menu return button dot width is equal to the arrow button width. Likewise the height. We can just make the arrow button height. And then is there anything else we need to set? Call this like M. I don't think so. Okay. Let's compile this. Typo. Yeah, this seems fine to me. Except that the position here is weird. It's not having a constant offset. What? I'm so confused. We're saying draw this 100 and 100 from the top left position. Why is this changing? We're drawing this every frame. Like what? How? Oh, because we're drawing the center of the rectangle at 100, 100. That's why. Let's actually modify this position a bit. Let's make it so that it's aligned with having it at the top left is weird. I kind of just want to put it at the top of the screen now. Like center align this in the top of the screen. Let's do that. So let's make the position have the x coordinate of the grid. So I think I can just do grid coords.x. And then in terms of the height, how do we do the height for these buttons? We just took the position of the top left tile. Took the X position, took the Y position of the top left tile, then went up by half the tile, and then by the bar thickness. That is, we went to like the top of this black grid bar, and then just did half of that. Okay, so if we replicate this, but instead take a quarter, it would send this icon in the middle here. So why don't we say menu return pos y is that thing, but now with a 0.25. And then there's a way easier way of writing that. We can just say, let's take half of this left pos y. Okay. That's all that needs to be done. When you return this one. And then if we're doing this, we may as well actually describe what this is as well. Okay, let's compile this. Expected semicolon after declaration. Oh, it doesn't know what grid pos is. Oh, okay. We need to, this is a global that we need to reference. Okay, so we can actually just call it grid pos then. Expected float found vector. Okay, that is at least in the middle. It looks bad in some orientations though. Not a big fan of how this is currently looking. We could position it as follows. We determine once we've determined what the width and height of this button is, we just like offset it by like half of the height across and then half of the height down. So it is it's an offset, but it's an offset for which we will put it to the top left, but in such a way that it doesn't do the behavior before. Part of me feels like this is I shouldn't be worrying about this kind of thing at this stage. It's going to be here for a while, so it may as well not give me a migraine while I'm developing the rest of the app. Okay, so we can just say set the position. Let's just do it first before we comment what it is, in case I change it again. So we want this position here to be half of the height plus half of the width of it. Let's just make some constants. And then you return we'll just set these things. So yeah, this is just going to be the arrow button width, menu return height. And then here we can just say, yeah, this will be menu return button height plus the menu return button width. The Y position of this is just going to be the menu button height down plus the menu button height down, like half. This is this. Menu return button height, and then the rest should be the same. Compile. Yeah, this looks way better. Now it kind of is actually like seemingly decently aligned. It's not massively changing in the alignment. Like, yeah, relatively speaking at least. You know, now I kind of want to just adjust the position of these arrow buttons to be horizontally aligned with this. Let's do that. Okay, maybe this actually makes sense from a design standpoint, just have all of the buttons horizontally aligned. Okay, but before I lock that in, we'll keep it the same. So currently is, as in we're not going to define some new variable called like button height position and set all of them like that. Yeah. So, okay, so actually, I mean, I say this, but it actually makes sense to do this. Yeah, screw it. Let's just standardize stuff now. Well, we can. Yeah. This will now honestly be a button calculation. Go away Emacs. So, so we want to do. We want to just set button width, and then a button height, and we'll use these same things for all of them. And okay, so I'll say like puzzle solving buttons. Okay, these ones we want to fix. So this is where we want to say let's call these like puzzle button, like P button. P button width is just equal to this thing. P button P button. Why I keep on writing pop? P button height is 0.75 times, instead of the arrow button width, the P button width. Okay, let's actually it's okay. We'll keep these in. We'll now just standardize these. P width, P button height, da da da, and then for these ones here, this is now also these width and these heights. We now need to make all of them horizontally aligned. So why don't we just do P button Y pos, pos Y. And we want this to be aligned with the current, whatever the current calculation is for the menu one. So this was a bit in, oh, it's literally just the menu button height. Okay, so this pos is, yeah, this pos is just, it's just that. Okay, that's a lot easier. And then for the arrow button Y positions, now this is just the P button height. The P button pos Y. And then this pos Y down here is also the P button pos Y. Okay. Let's see how much stuff got ruined. Okay. They're all horizontally aligned. And this makes sense, at least to my brain more. Okay. We are past the midnight self-imposed goal. Let's just do button detection for this stuff now. And then we'll call it a night. So for the detected button clicks, we want to now detect process puzzle hover clicks. Yeah, we want to determine whether the mouse it's just this sentence that with over the menu. No need for this. Over the we call it the P button. And it's just this, but now we're taking the address of the menu return button. And that should be it, hopefully. Hurrah! It's picking up the hover. It's changing colors. Okay, nearly done. Now we just need to actually do what happens if it's clicked on. So, I'm going to say left arrow click on left arrow moves to previous level, right arrow click left click on a left arrow moves to previous level. Left click on right arrow moves to next level. And now left click on return on menu, return button moves to menu. Now we can just say if the mouse is down and it wasn't down last frame and the menu return button is hovering, then we want to just change the game mode, right? Game mode dot, or game mode equals, what are the options? Main menu. Okay. I'm not doing backtrace. Main menu. Okay. And I guess now we have done the detection logic for the button, so we can get rid of that to do. Okay. Yay, and we get taken back to the main menu again. Okay. So this was all I wanted to do tonight then. It is kind of nice actually just programming all of this from scratch. Like, I'm not dealing with some like we just figured out what the geometry was for the thing we wanted to make. Rendered it, added in the logic. Yeah, we didn't have to do. This is the kind of programming that I find satisfying. Oh, and yeah, let's see. Does this returns to the level where we picked off from? Great. Okay. Let's save this, and I will call it a night. Added menu return button that's that. Okay. Yeah, this is exactly the Zigzen. Spend more time debugging your app than your language. Yeah, this is totally the case. Like, maybe this is just like a self-evident thing. Maybe this part of the Zig community is maybe a bit like an echo chamber, what I'm about to say, but just, you know, I'm sure if this was some like JavaScript button library, not only would it be breaking in 2 years' time, but it would just take like hours to figure out even how to position something. But like, you know, when you just write your own like logic where it's just like, these are just the very concrete things that define a button, and then just a different like rendering function for each. Yeah, super easy to draw any kind of basic custom button. Okay. Yeah, so now we want to do I suppose push this to the cloud. Okay, yeah, I really should be getting to bed if I'm waking up in 6 hours to do more work. But yeah, thanks so much, Two Step, for dropping by, saying hi. And yeah, I kind of want to get this app done because there is a game that I'm way more excited about doing. It will be a 3D game I'm probably still going to do it in Raylib, even if I am kind of interested in trying to explore Vulkan soon. I feel like it would be better just to get the game working, this next game, some prototype working, and then once that's working, once that's working, start learning Vulkan. Start doing some basic things with that, and then finally rewrite the next game in Vulkan. And then even after that, rewrite it in Direct 3. Okay, I eventually want to do something in Direct 3D, because I do want to have some like native app I can like put on Steam for free, because this next Q game is going to be really dope. Like, my friends will really like it, from what I've showed them so far. But yeah, all of this is for the future. Yeah. Have a good night too, Two Step. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime. Bye.